is. It's 16 square miles of unspoiled nature, beautiful waterways, historic
Caleb, come and look.
cottages. And with only about 2,000 people living here year-round, it really is
What's on TV?
small-town island living, Michigan style. Harsens Island is located at the top of Lake St. Clair, just a 1-hour drive northeast of Detroit. If you want to drive your car to Harsens Island, there's only one way to do it, and this is it. That's right. Unless your car can swim, it'll have to catch a ride on Champion's Auto Ferry. These workhorses run year-round and around the clock, and the ride is just a short 5 minutes across the North Channel from neighboring Algonac. Dave Bryson's family's been getting people on and off this island for generations now. So, these ferries run 24/7.
That's Bryson on the right.
That's correct. 24 hours a day, every day of the year, non-stop, even during the winter.
When do these guys sleep?
They're not allowed to sleep. That's forbidden.
Now, your family's owned these ferries for how long?
Well, my grandfather started this operation back in 1937.
Look, our store behind us. See that?
Ferry. At that time, there were 3 or 4 other ferries, and they all competed with each other. Of course, back in those days, the ferries weren't steel like they are now. They were wooden barges that were just pushed back and forth by regular boats. And after he bought the ferry, and over a period of 3 or 4 years, he actually went and built a steel ferry that put safe diesel power in it, and because it wasn't prone to blowing up like all the other wooden boats that were fueled with gasoline, eventually he put everybody else out of business.
Yeah, you wonder back then how many times the ferry break down and you just coast down the river and just see, have a nice day.
That was it. I mean,
sorry.
If the boat or launch that was pushing you back and forth failed, you were on your own. That was it.
What do you guys do in the winter? Does this freeze over?
This freezes over hard and solid. Normally we'll let the ice come in and it jams up and freezes, and then we'll break a path through it, and then because we run 24/7, we just keep the path open by going back and forth.
What's the biggest challenge of running a ferry operation like this?
There are 2 basic things that we have to take care of that are really problematic for us. One is finding enough qualified captains to run it 24 hours a day, every day of the year. That, coupled with the mechanical aspect of keeping the boats mechanically in shape to...
How freaking cool is that, Max?
Safety aspect, hauling people back and forth, especially through the ice that we have to do. That's the 2 big things.
I wish they taped this in the winter.
We spend most of our time on.
I think I could be a captain.
No.
Maybe, can I collect some money from some people?
Oh, sure, you can do that.
That I can do. I can count, I think. Well, before I knew it, Dave had me hard at work collecting fares. And I found out pretty quick that this job is almost as much fun as being a TV show host, but much more lucrative. I'm collecting money for the ferry. It's $47, please. $86, please. If you don't have any money, I'll take candy. $146, please. Did you want a car wash with your ferry ride today? Today it's by the person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 18 people. That'll be $11 billion, please. Is this your first time to Mackinac Island? Did they tell you about the new ferry schedule? This is the last one till spring. You can't get off the ferry if you don't pay. This is Monopoly money. Hot dog, thanks. You're good to go. You're good to go. Well, after leaving Dave with a mess of wrong change
and there's the store in the front
wrappers, we drove off the ferry and made our way across the island to the South Channel. Now, this is where the giant freighters pass so close to you, you can almost reach out and touch them. It's also where we discovered the tiny town of Sans Souci. Now, if you're looking for a walkable town, you can't do better than this. It's a wee town, all right, but it's got everything you need for a fun day on the island. You can grab a bite to eat at the historic Sans Souci restaurant, pack a picnic lunch at the Sans Souci market, and even find everything from cool island trinkets to incredible artistic treasures at the waterfront shop. It's a great place to explore and learn more about the island from the locals. And speaking of learning more, you know, if you want to find out more about a place...
Hey, there's the museum, guys.
...is at the beginning. I wrote that myself. You like that? Good. Thanks. Here at the Harsens Island Historical Museum, I met up with Bernard Licata, who gave me a quick look back at the island. So, this was actually used to be a fire station.
This was the fire department for the island.
For the whole island? Because it's not very big.
Well, it's not very big, but we only had one little fire engine here.
Well, now, how long have you had this as a museum?
We rented the building in March of 2011. And we opened the museum Memorial Day that year.
Now, a lot of people know that Harsens Island is a great place to go to vacation, to relax. It's a great place to live. But a lot of people don't know the great history this island's got.
Listen to this.
Back in the early days here on the island,
listen.
well, it goes all the way back to Jacob Harsens, who bought the island from the natives. And he was the first white settler here. And then in early 1900s, when they switched over from sailing vessels to steamships, they used to bring the Tajmu steamer up through here every day. The Tajmu steamer carried some 3,000 passengers.
This came from Detroit every day.
Foot of Woodward in Detroit, and it hit all the hotels along the way, including the park that was on the island, the Tajmu Park, where there was entertainment and gambling and all sorts of good fun. And then it would make its way up to the Grand Point Hotel at the head of the island, and then it would go all the way to Port Huron, turn around and come back for the day.
3,000 people?
That's how many it carried.
So this was like a Mackinac Island of the South.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The Harsens Island Historical Museum really is a great place to get lost in the island's illustrious past. But it was also curious what life was like on the island today. So I spent some time with Artie Bryson. He's the township supervisor here, and he's an islander through and through. For somebody who's never been to Harsens Island,
Artie.
explain the atmosphere or the culture here.
That's Bryson's brother.
It's fairly unique. It's laid
It's one of
back.
John's good friends.
It's definitely a different way of life. Like in the summertime,
It's like the mayor.
boating and kayaking, that sort of thing. One of the favorite things my wife and my kid like to do, we'd grab an inner tube, we walk a half mile up to town, jump in, we float down the river.
And float back to your house.
Float back to our house. Sometimes we grab a cocktail, sometimes not.
Well, the neat thing is it's, like you were saying before, it's an hour from Detroit. And when you take that 5-minute ferry ride, that's your 3-hour drive up north.
Exactly.
You're instantly up north.
Exactly. And people that live over here, they're proud and they have a sense of ownership. A lot of people will tell you this is my island because they feel that way.
Did you grow up on the island?
I did.
Did you move away?
I did for a while, yep. And couldn't wait to get back.
It only took a few minutes of conversation with Artie for me to realize what was so special about this island. Too bad Gilligan didn't get marooned here. I think he would have dug it the most. Well, now that I'm becoming an expert on the island, I should probably spend some time off the island and on the water. So my good friend Captain Dave Barron and his first mate Marty Pecklow took us on a boat tour of the South Channel. Now this is where you really get a feel for how special this island is. Beautiful homes right on the channel, and an international waterway is your playground. The trip up and down the channel was thrilling and relaxing all at the same time. It was at that moment I realized, I could totally live here. And who knows, maybe someday. Well, as you can probably imagine, all that boating made us hungry. So we decided it was time to get educated on where to eat on the island. Now, usually the
Tony's place.
School sends chills up my spine, but not this time. And that's because this little schoolhouse is actually a restaurant. It's the Schoolhouse Grill, and until 2005, it was a real island elementary school. In 2009, Kristen Bain reopened the school as a place where she could show the whole world just how much she's learned about the fine art of good food. You have done an incredible job with this place. I mean, it's still
Tony's wife.
Schoolhouse, but it's so eclectic and weird. Where'd you get all this stuff?
This is mostly hand-me-downs and garage sale and things, we just used what we had.
Well, some people can throw stuff together and it looks like they threw stuff together. And then there's people like you that can take stuff like this and make it kind of work and turn it into a theme.
A little art background. I guess maybe that's where it comes from. And I remember growing up, my house always looked like this. It was always an eclectic mix of things, that my mom had collected. And I'm used to doing that, so.
Now, this place was an actual working school not that long ago.
No, 2005. It closed. Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember while it was going through that transition of whether they were going to keep it open or not, we were on the island with another location. And we, fought alongside the parents wanting this to stay open because it was such a treasured school, and so many memories here. But
so you get people coming in here to eat that actually went to school?
Yeah, and taught here. The stories have been just awesome to hear. I've had teachers come through here and cry and just so happy that we did something to it, and that it didn't sit vacant.
Well, time for this class clown to find out just how the regular folks feel about this elementary eatery. So what do you think with what they did with the school here?
School? I was principal here.
You were the principal?
Oh my God, yes, I tell you.
You still got your paddle?
Great. Yes, I do.
This restaurant, we are so fortunate to have it right here on our little island. It's very spectacular, actually.
It's the little island get-together gathering place.
Just great. Done a fabulous job.
Great food, great service, really nice people. It's just a great time.
They have the best food on the whole island, and there's no place better.
Did you go to school here?
No, I did not.
But do you like going to school here now?
Oh, I love going to school here now, yes.
Did you serve food this good to the kids?
Better.
Kristen is keeping the history of this great little schoolhouse alive for all the islanders to enjoy. She's also serving up the kind of fresh, local food we totally love on UTR. Bonus. How would you describe the food that you're serving?
I guess we call it American with a twist. I put a lot of Pacific Rim influence on it. We do as much local eating as we possibly can, out of the garden. You know, we were talking before about no recipes. Just go in there and, you know, use what you have and put it together and make great things.
Nice.
A pop quiz on any of this, is there?
Absolutely. It's some study time for you.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to stay after school and have some dinner. Do you mind?
No.
Okay, good. Well, our first meal at the Schoolhouse Grill totally passed the test. And so did our first visit to Harsens Island. So next time you're up for a uniquely Michigan island adventure, spend a day here. And who knows, someday you
Hey,
just
there's
might
a Chris
catch
grab.
my cozy little cottage. Just, don't forget away. I've said it before,